Welcome back to the Republic of Arsenal. Today, I just want to have a quick talk about the situation regarding the young Arsenal striker Folarin Balogun. Balogun is a name that has been mentioned a lot over the past couple of months. It's at the point where I think I'm hearing as much about Balogun as I am about Mesut Ozil apparently leaving the club. So it's one of those. It's really become a bit of a saga. We still aren't 100% clear on what's going to happen. Is he going? Is he staying? Arteta seems to want him to stay, but at the same time, he's saying in his press conferences that, yeah, of course he wants him to stay and he rates him. But at the same time, we're not quite seeing that being reflected in his team selections. We've seen him play a handful of times in the Europa League, but then the other night, for example, no inclusion even on the bench against Newcastle in the FA Cup. So it's a really strange scenario that we find ourselves in regarding Balogun. To me personally, my view would be if you rated this guy the way you say you do, if you want him to stay the way you say you do, you're going to want to show him that by giving him minutes. Now, I'm not saying throw him into the starting lineup in a Premier League game. He's still learning, he's still young, still largely untested, but we don't know what level he's actually at until we see him on the pitch. We've seen him in the Europa League. We got a little snippet, and signs look very, very good. They look extremely positive. 2 goals from 2 sub appearances. So, that's good. We've something to work with there. I can't understand why he didn't get into the squad, at least make the bench against Newcastle. Could have come on, made a bit of a cameo appearance, give us a little something extra. And as I said, if Arteta seriously wants this guy to stay, to me, he's not exactly going about it the correct way to show him how highly regarded he is and how much he does want him to remain at the club. I'm hearing today that potentially a move to Red Bull Leipzig or RB Leipzig, I'm not sure if they're Red Bull anymore, but Leipzig anyway are being talked about. It was Stuttgart a couple of weeks ago, which kind of made sense because you're seeing a lot of young English talent move over to the Bundesliga because they're getting the minutes there. It's up in their profile and probably with a view to a move back to the Premier League where they're going to get a bumper pay rise and command a nice fee. So players happy, agents happy, everyone's happy. Stuttgart made sense because Arsenal's ex-head of recruitment, Sven Mislintat, is over there. So it's expected that he's going to know of Balogun. And at the same time, you're going to put one and one together, get two. Our ex-head of recruitment, he's at a club in the Bundesliga. Our players are probably going to get linked to Stuttgart. So now Leipzig are the latest side to have been linked with Balogun. Now, it makes sense from the player's point of view. You have an opportunity to go play regular first team football. You will get minutes at Leipzig, and they do have a young, up and coming team. They've a lot of talent. They just completed the signing of Dominic Szoboszlai. They've got players like Upamecano. So there's plenty of other Sabbats around that. I could go on. They do have a great squad. They're playing Champions League football. They're doing well in the Bundesliga. It makes complete sense. If you're a player looking for minutes, it's a good place to go. And like I said, potentially with a view to coming back to the Premier League at some point in your career. So yeah, definitely makes sense. Now, from an Arsenal point of view, it is a really tricky situation, and I have spoke about this on my podcast, and I've also spoke about this on various other YouTube channels that I have appeared on. It's a very very tricky debate, the Balogun situation. On one sense, okay, you've got this player that everybody's hyping up, everybody's talking about. He's making a name for himself in the youth ranks. He made a bit of a name for himself again playing a couple of Europa League games, scored a few goals, gave us a couple of nice little cameos. We got a nice little look at the potential of how good he could be. Now, as I said, for me personally, it's not quite enough. It's not enough for me to say, okay, here's a guy, He looks like he's going to be a great player for us in the future. You know, give him whatever he wants. Just make sure he stays. To me, I think that's a very, very dangerous game to play. As I said, he looks to have potential based off of the very, very small clips we've had. Had he played maybe 10, 15 times and performed, you could say, okay, this lad, this lad is the future. You know, we've got Lacazette, we've got Aubameyang. Possibly next 2 to 3 seasons, both of those guys are gone. You've got a big opening in the team here. If you're Balogun, you know you should be looking at that and saying, "I'm only 19. I signed a deal with Arsenal, the club that he says he loves. He says he's happy to stay. He just wants minutes." But if you're 19, you know these two established players are gone in the next 2 3 seasons. You know, why not commit to even a 3 or 4 year deal? Maybe go out on loan. It would make more sense to go out on loan to the Bundesliga for a season, the way Reece Nelson did. Maybe go out on loan, do a season, maybe do 2 seasons, come back, do a season at a lesser Premier League team. You will get your chance. You will get your chance eventually. And if you don't get the minutes that you want at Arsenal, you know, you can still walk away and still only be what, 22, maybe 23 at most, depending on how long you sign on for. Now, as I said, for Arsenal, I think it's a dangerous situation to be in because if you don't give the guy what he wants, obviously you risk losing him. If you do give him what he wants, if what he wants is a bit much, now the agent, I think, is going to have a big part to play in this because the agent who represents Balogun also represents Eddie Nketiah. So I think for him, he's looking at where I have 2 clients, highly regarded at the club, both looking for more playing time. The way Arsenal set up, they only play with one striker at the moment. So you've got your 2 clients in competition with each other. Not a great situation for the agent. Or at the same time, if you look at it from a sale point of view, great situation for the agent because now it's in his best interest to move at least one of these guys on, meaning payday. So right now, Balogun is the name everyone's talking about. Balogun is the guy everyone's looking at. Makes sense to get the move for Balogun, and he can sign a pre-contract agreement and be off. So bigger signing on fee, probably bigger contract elsewhere. As I keep saying, I'm kind of going a roundabout way here, but there's a lot to this. There really is. It's not as straightforward as, you know, this guy looks great given what he wants. I think my personal belief is, okay, you can commit to this guy, you can take a chance. You could say this guy is showing all the signs based off of, as I said, a very, very small snippet of clips we've seen. You can see a couple of clips of him on YouTube, which is great. You can base a bit of judgment off of his performance in the Europa League, which is great. For me, just not enough to make a commitment depending on what he's looking for. If he's looking for something extortionate, you give it to him. What message does that send to the rest of the younger players who are coming up? Let's say, just take Miguel Aziz, for example. He's touching on the first team at the moment. You know, he got a couple of minutes in the Europa League. What happens now if a guy like that, his contract is coming to an end? Arsenal look for him to sign, and he says, "Hang on, didn't Balogun hold out for a while?" And he was given, I've seen figures of 100 grand a week, which madness if that's the truth. But let's say, for example, Arsenal commit and they think this is the guy for the future. This is the guy going to return us to former glories. Give him whatever he wants. You're Miguel Aziz now. You're sitting there going, the club want me to stay. You know, they regard me highly. The fans are calling for me to stay. You know, it's all over social media. Everyone sign Balogun up. The pressure the club is under now, the pressure Arteta's under to give this guy what he wants, that's going to trickle down to the youth teams. And guys are going to start saying, I'm going to hold on here. You know, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to I'm going to not commit to anything. I'm going to play the game, and the club are going to fold under the pressure, and they're going to give me what I want, and then we're all happy. And again, a guy like that, like I said, Balogun looks to have great potential. But what happens now if he signs this deal and commits, you know, whatever amount we give him every week, and then in a season's time, we're going, this guy hasn't really kicked on the way we'd hoped. What happens then in 3 seasons time, you're going, it's really not working out. He's not hit the heights we were expecting. I like to look back at the Eddie Nketiah situation when I'm kind of talking about Balogun as well, because Eddie Nketiah not long ago was in the same situation. Not so much contract wise, but as in he was the young up and coming player that we were all talking about, we were all hyping, and people were saying, Lacazette needs to come out of the team. Eddie Nketiah should be in there playing week in, week out. Now he's had a couple of chances. For the most part, I think he's fine. I think he's perfectly okay. He's still a young player. He's 21. He's still developing. I don't feel he's ready to lead the line at Arsenal by any means. I do not. I feel he needs time to develop. He needs to go out on loan. He needs a solid season, maybe 2 seasons as a main striker before he's ready for, I think, the level that we as Arsenal fans want him to be at. He's not there yet. It's not to say he will ever get there. It's not to say he won't get there. But Nketiah was the guy who is in a similar situation to Balogun, as in we're calling for this guy, should be in the team, should be in the team. What if it happens again? What if he turns out exactly like Eddie Nketiah and we've made a massive financial commitment? So, as I said, the point I'm trying to make is the club have just got to be so clever with this. You just cannot give in that easy. Sometimes the easiest way of doing it is let the guy walk. If he doesn't want to commit with the terms that the club have offered, maybe it's best to let him walk. And okay, you could end up with a Serge Gnabry situation again. You could have a guy who goes on to become an absolute world beater, and okay, you're sitting there going, what if, why didn't we just give him this? Okay, that's fair enough, but at the same time, you have another situation. You could have an Ozil situation where you give a guy such a big contract and then you're just burdened for the rest of his days with you, really, and you don't get the return for it. So, like I said, it's a head spinner. It really is an absolute head spinner of a situation. It's one that, like I said, the club need to really sit back, have a good think about what's the best way to approach this. Let the guy go and protect yourself from kind of getting caught badly with future youth contracts, or risk letting him go and sit back and watch how his career develops and go, we really missed out on that one. It's a tough one. It's a head spinner. As I said, me personally, I think based off of what I know for sure, what I've seen with my eyes, I would not be committing too much. And if he walks, I personally am not going to be overly upset. Now, maybe I might rue these words, and you could look back at this video in a couple of seasons' time when he's winning the Golden Boot and be saying, well, you got that wrong. Who knows? This is the risk we just have to take. This is what the club has to do, and this is why they make the big bucks and I make the YouTube videos. So I'm glad the decision doesn't rest with me, but that's just my point of view. So look, if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. If you disagree with me, let me know. I'm open to discussion. Let me know how you feel. Smash that like button, click subscribe. Come on, you Gunners.